What up? It's your boy Los. When I think they lost their mind podcast, episode 7.
7, baby.
Got my boy with me.
It's Lew, baby.
Man, listen, this guy, man, off the hook, man. But we gonna speak about that. But listen, what we got for y'all today, man, we gonna speak about 50-50.
As well as roles of a relationship.
Roles of relationship.
For sure.
Absolutely.
What you think about 50-50, bro?
I don't know, man. I mean, we're gonna get into it. You know what I mean? Do I think? I mean, I don't think it's all finances. I'm gonna say that much. But
Okay.
we'll get into it. But
Okay.
how you feeling, man?
Yeah, I feel good, King. I think that it's one of them weeks though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
One of them like
Talk about it.
There was one of them weeks where like I think we were speaking earlier. You don't feel like being bothered.
Feel like being bothered.
You don't feel like being bothered.
Yeah,
It's nothing wrong. I just don't feel like being bothered.
Yeah. I mean, coming from the my weekend was cool,
Mhm.
you know, but coming off the weekend, you know what I'm saying, had a few things going on, man, and just trying to get back to it. You know what I mean? Working on that mental still.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Working on that
yeah.
mental, getting that mental space.
For sure. Let
You
me
know
ask you
what I'm
this though, King. When there's a moment where your peace shifts, how you get back to it?
Yeah, I think it's just get back to the basics. I think it's get back to the
what do you mean?
basics. Just starting from day one all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just praying, reading up on some things
Mhm.
and just understanding your purpose.
Yeah.
I think simply that you just got to continue to understand your purpose and understand why you're here.
Right.
You're gonna go through tough times
Yeah.
in and out of certain friendships or
Yeah.
relationships and things of that such.
Right.
Just battling,
Yeah.
but it's certain things you got to keep the faith, keep moving.
I think for me, solitude does well. Silence does well for me. Silence.
Okay.
Silence.
Yeah.
I think it gives me the opportunity to listen, to
Reflect.
no more I listen to what God trying to tell me, right? And then tune out so much noise. When our life is so loud, we need something to mute it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's what I'm learning, to tune out some of the noise.
Yeah.
And some things you don't need in your life.
You don't, for sure.
Some people you don't need in your life.
1,000%.
So you just gotta keep it moving.
Yeah, for sure.
But look, listen, speaking of people needing in your life, you know what I mean? Saying like we're gonna speak about the hot topic right now, and that's the Diddy case. And saying like there's a lot of people that they had in their life. A lot of people they had in their bedroom.
Hey, yo, you ever had a freak off?
No, I never had a freak off.
Yeah.
How about you?
No.
They said it's no longer a Rico, it's a freako.
Hey, yo, but I got a question. Let's keep it 1,000. Is that some of that shit really unheard of?
I think it's unheard of to the public eye.
Yeah.
But who knows what people do behind closed doors?
How about the pissing in the mouth?
I mean, some women like golden showers.
Hey, yo, that's a fact. So it's not like niggas never heard it before.
Yeah, I think it's just because
it's being said out loud.
It's being said out loud.
Yeah,
because
sure.
I know a lot of people that enjoy certain things behind closed doors.
You know, you
I don't know. I mean, they said my man
said you know.
I know some people, but they said my man had a small pool of baby oil in a room.
Yeah, I'm just trying. I didn't understand the baby oil aspect.
And I think listen, I'm gonna put it in perspective. Having baby oil and maybe a female putting baby oil on their body, how you think their body gonna look? Gorgeous.
Yeah, but the bitch gonna be slippery.
I mean, whether it's slippery, but the concept of it is, I think the oil gets hot, right? Now, I mean, to a certain extent, bodies rubbing, bodies touching with the oil on it, it's just a different feeling.
How you know?
You never had oil on? Like you never rubbed your lady down?
You had baby oil on before?
I didn't have baby oil on before.
What?
But I have had massage oil on before. Yes.
So you was greased up.
I wouldn't say I was greased up.
So who massaged you with the oil on? Massage therapist or you talking about something else?
A massage therapist, champ.
So you never had that. So you didn't touch your body. So how would you know?
Well, the thing about it is, I have celebrated.
What?
You ain't about to dig me down. So what I am saying is, yes, I have experienced where lubricants being on someone, and the touching back and forth is a different feeling.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That's how I'm gonna keep it at.
Okay, cool, whatever.
So you mean to tell me that you never massage your lady down and made her feel good, and then right after y'all having sex.
Yo, but yes, but I think there's a difference of me. Two bodies didn't have it on. It was only one person,
well,
right? So,
it's going to.
Hey, yo, and you,
is it not going to pass on you once you touch her?
Hey, yo, what I'm saying to you is, the amount that they using ain't the same amount.
How about this? Taking a shower. You take a shower with your mate, and the soap on her and the soap on you, and y'all get to doing something nasty in the shower. It's the same. It's a good feeling, right?
How's a good feeling?
It's not a good feeling. Both of y'all bodies touching, and the soap on the body.
I don't like soapy sex. That's not my thing.
Yeah, that could turn into a bad day for the female.
For sure. I'm not really, you know what I'm saying? So you had that? Okay, you just said, obviously you had that.
No, I haven't. I have felt bodies touching with something on
Hey, yo,
your body.
brother, this may sound crazy. Let me keep it a big. I don't really like fresh sex at the shower. I just don't. I don't.
So you like all day sex? You like all day? You like all day?
I like my seasoned food marinated.
Man, you both. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, but sometimes, it's a good feeling when you got something fresh though.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an eater.
I think when you eat the groceries. Yeah. I take the fresh fruit.
Yeah, you'll take the fresh fruit.
I take the fresh fruit.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But I mean, if you eating the groceries, and they got a little bit of seasoning on it, you gonna lick it off anyway. Yeah, this some Diddy shit right here. Hey yo, I mean, but these are things that you do with your woman. For sure. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, it's not different about it. But I feel like having someone do that to your woman, that's when shit get different.
That shit different.
Shit changes things.
And I guess niggas was watching, niggas was beating their dicks in there. That's a bit different.
Damn, you had to go into all that.
That's still the case.
Yeah.
You think it's a mute pot? Oh, you think
I don't think it's a mute. Yeah, he was. He was. Performing. Hand to penis.
He was beating the dick wide. Come on, man.
I mean, but we argue.
You called it a penis.
But we argue this. we have argued this where you have watched porn
for sure,
and a male and a female was in a porn and you beat your dick to it.
What? Never said that.
You didn't say that? So that has never happened.
Yo, what are you talking?
Have never happened.
But I'm not on stand. Yo,
I mean, listen.
Flip it on me.
Well, because you asked me about it before the podcast started.
What you said?
I mean, I don't watch porn like that.
That's not what you said.
That's what I said. I have, I don't watch porn. You did
not say that.
Yo, because the thing about it is, when it comes down to me and my imagination, it has to be something that is real to me. You get what I'm saying? Like, it can't be two strangers having sex and I'm jerking off to it. That's different.
So you saying you never done it?
I have done it in my past, in my younger days, but now we grown.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Yeah, I got you.
And I mean, going to the 50-50.
For sure.
I shouldn't be doing that anyway.
What you mean?
If we want to talk 50-50.
Oh, so you want to get to the topic?
I'm just going there. If you want to talk 50-50, if I'm paying most of the bills.
You said not about finances.
Okay, it's not.
Did you not say that?
If I'm paying most of the bills and I'm providing you with more than 50%,
right?
Then
what?
You should be get whatever you need at home.
I'm not understand what you mean. What you talking about, bro? Like, you saying that you should get whatever you want, whenever you feel like it?
Pretty much.
So if
you satisfying your woman, if you satisfy
how you satisfy? We're not talking about money. So how you talking about it?
I mean, we ain't talking about money, but we talking about comfort. That includes money.
Nigga, you kind of contradicting yourself.
How? If I'm saying that being comfortable within your relationship, ladies,
okay,
you want to feel comfortable, right? You want to feel like when it's time for bill time, and most of your bills are covered, you want to feel comfortable. So therefore, if you're feeling comfortable at that point, your man making you feel good, you know what I mean, treating you to trips and things of that such, making sure, you don't have to worry about too much, then there you go. The man should be pleased as well.
So you saying that pussy should be on demand, no matter whenever time you want it?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't it be?
That's like some Diddy shit, bro. That sound like ownership.
I ain't say I was going to force it on her, but I'm saying as a man, it should be. I mean, we talked about it before, but I think that a woman should want to come on to their man and make them happy as well.
So do you believe in 50-50? Do you believe that relationships are 50-50?
In some instances, yeah.
Man, I see a yes or no, man.
I mean, let's go into detail about it.
Do you believe a relationship is 50-50?
Yeah, with not all finances, absolutely.
Excuse me?
With not all finances, absolutely. Like we're not just speaking finances. Yeah, I think relationship could be a perfect relationship could be 50-50.
That doesn't exist. Okay, a perfect relationship doesn't exist. The question I'm asking you is: do you, Carlos, believe Los that relationships are 50-50?
Not all the time, no.
Okay, I don't either. Yeah. I don't believe relationships are 50-50.
Why is that?
Because I believe that understanding what each party roles are, right? Identify what your roles are. Sometimes a man may do more things than a woman may do. Like when it comes to kids, the woman may do more of the nurturing with the kids than the father may do. You know what I'm saying? Based off of women are natural nurturers. That's what they do, right? So when it comes to the kids aspect, they may do more tending to the kids because sometimes, depending on the situation, the dad may be working. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm not saying women not either though, but statistics show that sometimes the woman does more when it comes to the household and the running of the family because they say the woman is the queen of the house, correct? All right, cool. So when it comes to household things, and every relationship is ran differently, right? So it's all about identifying how you run your relationship, right? So if for me personally, if when it comes to the cooking and things like that, I don't do a lot of cooking. That's not my strong suit, right? That's not my strong suit.
You like to have that meal ready though, don't you?
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
In the microwave too.
What you mean in the microwave?
I'm saying if you're not home, it's ready for you in the microwave.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, since you want to talk about that, so do you expect her to bring you your plate? Or do you make your own plate?
Nah, I expect my plate to be made.
Okay.
That's just what it is.
Okay. And the same thing if you look at it, you don't expect when a burglar come break in the house, you don't expect her to go down there. You're going to go risk your life, right?
Absolutely.
Okay then. That's why sometimes it ain't going to be even. It can't be 50-50, right? Now, when it comes to the bills, it depends on your financial situation. If you can pay, are you cool with paying all the bills?
I'm cool with paying all the bills to a certain extent.
It's just always a hyphen with you.
I mean, only reason being because obviously this new day in life, which is not even new, because if we really be honest about it, our past generation, I think 2 or 3 great grandparents, or whatever, the man usually took care of the bills in the house.
For sure. The woman took care of the house.
But the woman took care of the house. And most of the women, took care of the house, cook, clean. But also back then, the man could do whatever the fuck he want too.
What you mean?
I mean, Pop he was a Rolling Stone. You know they made that song. Pop was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. So he paid the bills here, and he went over here, paid the bills, and grandma there ain't give a shit.
So you saying that because he paid the bills, he can drop dick off anywhere?
I ain't saying that.
I'm asking.
I mean, but I don't think it was challenged as it is, as it would be now. This day in life, I think a lot of females view it as you should pay all the fucking bills, and I do whatever the fuck I want to do with my money. And I think I don't agree with that.
I don't agree.
That's what I don't agree with. Now, I don't mind paying all the bills. I'm at that point where I don't mind paying all the bills.
Right.
But if I'm paying all the bills, if we living in the same household, I need to know what you're doing with your money. And I'm not saying that to be controlling.
But that sounds controlling.
Well, I'm gonna explain. Okay. What I'm saying is, if I need to fall back on you, if something that needs to be done, I need to make sure you're not fucking up the money.
For sure.
So if I'm paying all the bills and you have no responsibility at all, I think it enables someone.
Okay.
Right. So therefore, all right, I'm gonna pay all the bills. Okay, you do whatever else you want to do with your money. You going to the club, buying sections with you and your girls.
Right.
You know what I mean? Doing whatever you want to do with your money. And then when it's time to, maybe do things around the house or, buy this and buy that, now you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Well, so I just feel like I'm not going to have you pay the mortgage. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have you pay most of the bills. But I still think that as a woman, especially if you're working, I feel like it shouldn't be a thing where you shouldn't want to pay the bill. You shouldn't want to pay a bill or two.
Right.
Now, like I said, I don't mind paying all the bills, but at the same time, we got to make sure that, you're doing what you're supposed to do with your money. You
Right.
know what I mean? Saving the money for us for a rainy day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Something traumatic happened to the house where, you know, the insurance may not fix it. I want you to be able to say, hey, you know, if you need money towards that, I got it. It's one of those type things for me.
Well, here's what I would say. I mean, definitely for me personally, I wouldn't mind paying all the bills, right? It wouldn't bother me. Once I understand that, as we were speaking earlier, that I think the thing about it, we gotta realize that a relationship is a partnership, right?
It's a business.
A business, okay, a business, and you have to understand what your partner's strong suits are and what are yours, right? So if I know if I'm paying all the bills and she not really good with money management, then it don't make no sense, right? It doesn't make no sense, right? So we had to figure out and be guided by how our relationship is and not your relationship, right? I think oftentimes people look at other people's relationships and try to implement what they got into ours, and it don't work, right? So how we operate our relationship and what we have an understanding of, it's between us.
Right.
So however I structure out my situation. So for me, it's just like most men are going to take the boatload of the bill.
Why not? Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it depends on your finances, right? You may pay the mortgage and all the federal bills, and why she paid the state, right? Everybody knows federal is the highest bill when it comes to taxes. State is the small those are things. So she may be paying the cable, possibly the cell phone, Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? BG&E, and what other little sorts of things she may have. But if you're able to consume everything, if I'm able to pay for everything, based on our structure of our relationship, she may be more beneficial to take care of the house, like the toiletries, the toilet papers and furniture and whatever the case may be, because that's how we operate our situation. So I think it's every situation may be different based on your arrangement.
I like that. I like that to be able. I'll be receptive of paying all the bills.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to the vacation fund, you know, you may be, you know, out, you know, the vacation you take each year or, you know, things of that such, you'll be willing to pay for, you know, the vacation. You know, we need furniture in the house, you know, new furniture, you'll be willing to pay for that. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that makes sense. And again, that's considering that you're putting your money aside for those times to come, you know, I will be in agreement to say, hey, I pay all the bills for the whole year. You take on all vacations. You know what I mean? You take on, you know, things of that such.
Listen, and if absolutely, in addition to that, having a joint account separate from your own person for the house, right? Yeah. So we deposit money each and every time in there that we can have for the trips or for emergency fund, things like that. That you know she can still save her money, but this is for the house, separate for what you have. So I think it's all about the communication and understanding. But I think nowadays roles are not, and the reason why relationships doesn't work because roles are not identified, right? Me personally, I believe each. I don't think it's like we sit down and say, hey, your role is this, your role is that. Nah. We just have an understanding how we run the structure of the house. So you may be the man, maybe, you know what? I take out the trash, make sure the trash taken out. I make sure whatever need to be fixed, the grass get cut. Certain things a man going to do.
And that's a bill within itself.
Crazy bill. If you're not cutting on your own, right? In addition to everybody know owning a home, your shit get fucked up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Shit get fucked up.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, you spoke on, you know, where things get a little touchy with relationships is being fully transparent about your finances.
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal where if you have a partner, you will want to be fully transparent. You know, you wouldn't want to hide things, you know, in certain ways or certain matters where it'll turn into a issue for us later down the road. So I think, you know, being fully transparent with your partner at all times, you know, and not wait to things get a little, you know, iffy, because I think, you know, a lot of times, you don't want to mishandle money, or you don't want to be the person that's, you know, challenging your significant other because of, you know, money issues, or who wants to have money issues.
1,000%.
A lot of people, you know, don't want to put their pride aside and just, you know, listen, I got this going on. How can we get better with that? Well, you gotta want to listen.
Well, Tuesday, I want our ladies to get out comments on our YouTube. Hit the comment box. Give us your perspective as well. We give it now, but I will say this too: we got to give them a space to feel comfortable to come to us. You feel what I'm saying?
I agree.
They got to feel like there's no aftermath after you told us something. You know what I mean? It can't be a verbal lashing or a yelling match where they're not gonna be able to understand how you delivered it to them. They're gonna feel like I'm never coming here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if that's the case, you gotta be like, I gotta correct myself. Am I giving them a platform to come to me and feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm not, What am I doing wrong?
Well, the thing about it is, I think that's a good point, and I agree with that because there's a lot of things as a man I need to work on.
Me too. Me too.
But the thing about it is, I also think about the accountability portion of it.
Yeah.
So if you've been down a road before, been involved in relationships before, and see that obviously it was a challenging thing when it came down to finances, I think, man, just work on it. Just work on it. So
You talking
therefore,
about for the woman or man, or which one?
for both. You know what I'm saying? I think, I think work on it. Yeah, you don't want your partner lashing out, but you got to think, why did your partner lash out? Why did your partner lash out? It wasn't an accountability type lash out where, I'm lashing out because I'm tired of being in this position.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we corrected your wrong once before. Why we have to keep on correcting it? So I think it's just the accountability portion of it where, all that's not right. Like,
for sure.
all of us, got a lot of things to work on, but at the same time, when it comes down to, that 50-50 thing, it's certain things that, you want done or you prefer done. Like, I don't mind washing clothes, but if I don't have to wash the clothes, I ain't wash clothes.
I love washing clothes.
The folding clothes, can't stand folding clothes.
I love folding clothes.
And just like cleaning up, cleaning up in the house.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I do well with cleaning.
Okay.
That's why I got somebody to come to clean the house.
Okay.
Every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like just certain things that needs to be done. Just get back to the basics and cleaning up. So, but at the same time, I just think that 50-50 thing is just not strictly about finances. It's about those things. If I call on you and count on you, hey, I got this going on today. Are you able to fill in
for sure
and take the kids this place and take the kids that place? Or, I like that. I mean, I don't mind eating out from time to time, but I like to cook meal.
Oh yeah, for
so
sure.
Therefore,
sure.
Some women just don't provide cook meals. Some women don't know how to cook, or some women know how to cook and just don't have the time to cook. So therefore, I want you to feel at a point where it's certain things that I want, and I want to cook meal.
Well, let me ask you this though. How often you get your oil changed in your car?
Every 5,000 miles.
Okay. Well, I believe I think that sometime in relationship we should have an annual check-in, right? To see where we are, right? Okay. Well, it ain't gotta be every month, but sometimes you wanna. That's the thing about relationships, bro. Like it changes in so many different seasons. Like you may be in a different season, this year in a different season. So we need to figure out how we get to the midpoint, right? Babe, what you think? Some things that I can improve on, because it's about action. It's an investment, right? When you see an investment, you got to continue to put more into it to see the stock rise, right? If we not really invested into the relationship, it decreases and we become distant, right? So I think it's more lines of checking in, like where we at, what issues we having, and where you feel we can improve. Where's the lack of communication? Because it really stems to the communication. And I think the good thing about this podcast when we started it and when we rewatch it, we see how we communicate.
Yeah.
And be like, yo, I don't think I'm giving my message clear enough.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't think my delivery is the way she can understand it. You know what I mean? Or he can understand it. And sometimes the man or woman has to be willing to hear what you're saying versus going on deaf ears. Because sometimes you could be saying the same thing that you may say, and I may say it, but she just may hear it differently how it sounds from me because it's you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know
you don't want to keep. But at the end of the day, you don't want to keep repeating yourself either.
For sure.
You don't want to keep repeating yourself. So if it is a situation where you can't communicate properly, maybe you need to write it down.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to write it down.
Yeah.
And just being able to address it. Stop hiding from certain things. I think that's what happens is where that's when the blame game come in at, because you try to hide from being fully transparent about anything.
Yeah.
And that's what turns, things into a nightmare. So yeah, I agree, getting back to the basics, and just, checking in. Checking in. I ultimately don't think that we check in enough.
Yeah.
And sometimes we, try to uplift.
Yeah.
But sometimes again, it matters what you're getting, because sometimes your partner don't want to hear that from you. And I ain't talking about the uplifting, but I'm just talking about anything.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna feel like they're being criticized by you, versus just you're giving your input from your past experiences.
With them or with somebody else.
Period.
But sometimes that past experience had nothing to do with them.
No, I'm obviously you're not giving it to them as if it was a past experience.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, anything that you have encountered.
Okay.
If you're trying to give them a past experience and they're not receptive of it, just because they turn to be rebellious towards you,
Why you
right?
think?
As if you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, let me say this. I want to address one point too. Let's go back to the money situation. I think that honestly, managing money and understand how to manage money is a skill. And if you don't learn the skill, but you'll never learn it. Somebody has to sit you down and actually show you how it is to manage money. Because you can have a lot, but then you also can have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So just because a person make $1 million, don't mean they can manage $1 million. Because you got motherfucker who can manage 40,000 and make it look like $1 million.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's just the management of money or what's coming out or what's going in. So I think a lot of us, we do a lot of swiping. We don't do a lot of checking and say, dang, I spent almost $700 on takeout food the last 2 months.
Well, and that's one thing, I kind of shared as far as the finances and the swiping. I typically, you got to look at certain things, right? And I'm learning that because I done had some things that transpired that where I wasn't really paying attention. It seems like I pay more attention to my credit card because I get like points on it, Southwest credit card. I pay more attention to those things versus a debit card. So I've learned that someone once told me, swipe where you could get something from it.
For sure.
Your debit cards, you can't get anything from your debit card.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You're not getting nothing off of it. I mean, more times than usual, you'll probably get a little something here, but you want to find your credit card that actually gets you points. Like I said, Southwest is phenomenal because you can fly. If you travel a lot, you get those flying points. But the thing about it is, I think you should look over that. You should look over your statements. Yeah, probably not. A lot of people don't have it by mail, but digitally. And do you think that you should be transparent with your significant other in reference to your finances?
What you mean by that?
Like your bank account.
How much I got in there?
Yeah.
That's a very good question, bro. How much money I got in my account?
Yeah.
That's what you asking me? That's a conversation is it needed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I need to express, hey, but I got motherfucking 10 million in my account.
No, I mean, I'm not saying like check in the field, but what if your significant other asks you what's in your account? Are you gonna give your significant other the what's in your account?
I don't feel need why I wouldn't ask that question.
Why?
Why I wouldn't ask that question?
Why wouldn't you be transparent about it?
I don't think it's irrelevant.
Well, what are you hiding?
I don't think it's about hiding anything. I just feel like that. What's the relevance of it? I mean, if she made it a big deal, then I probably would. But I don't think that's a reason why. Like, why? Unless something went wrong, and then I'll have to come to the table and say, hey, something went wrong. I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? This is the situation. This is what I have. This is what I need to put out. You know what I mean?
But do you think that's a little too late? Because I mean, you're saying do the monthly check-ins. I'm not saying share
I'm talking about
approximately or about.
I'm not talking about money though. When I say monthly time, I'm not talking about money.
Yeah, but I mean I think that includes money. I mean, theoretically, and again, a lot of things aren't about money, but technically, it is.
Well, I'll say this to you: it's a case by case situation. If my relationship pertained to me having to have it as far as financially, then yes. But if mine doesn't, I don't see a reason for me to have to ask her how much money she got in that account.
So you got a joint account?
We have we have a house account for sure.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I think we established that because I think it's important. I think she has her own, I have my own, but we have a fund for savings, right? In addition to vacations, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a show a way of connecting how we saving together. You know what I mean? We save together. So if the month we put in everybody we put in $100 a month, that's $200 a month. You got to make sure you meet your deadline.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I think that's
accountability, everything.
Accountability, and also it keeps us connected as far as having a task together. Sometimes it's about having tasks, right? And I think that that's important, right? I think sometimes the more that we do things together, it keeps us connected. Especially if you see, hey, well, babe, you ain't put no money in there last month. Like, why you ain't put no money? Accountability. Well, because it's not good. I just saw Amazon package you bought that wasn't important. So you got to figure out what your priorities are. You know what I'm saying? If the goal is this is the goal. And you always say, What's you saying?
What?
Complete the assignment.
Yeah, complete it.
So if our goal every month we putting in, and goal have to be realistic of what they can do. You know what I'm saying? So if let's just say for example, if she's able to put in 50 and I'm putting in 100, I'm cool with that. I ain't tripping.
Yeah, and like I said, it don't have to be 50-50, but at least meet me halfway to what you said you're gonna do.
But once again, I think it's about understanding that we're operating in a team capacity. There's no individuals. It's a team unit. Because end of the day, your shit fail. All y'all fail.
All y'all fail.
Not just you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I think it's more about a conversational piece of what's wrong. Why, if the situation is about finances, then I'm gonna ask those questions. But how much you got in your account? How much money you make? How much money you putting out? How much debt you have? Right? Because obviously something's wrong. There's a misunderstanding. There's a problem somewhere. You need to figure out what the problem is. So if you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have this, why you don't have no money?
I agree.
You can't tell me stop. I know how much you make. I know what you bring in. I know what you pay. So if my relationship was pertaining to that, and my wife, and I was the person that was fucking up money, and she asked me, bro, then I had to tell her, because if something go wrong, she gonna be the only person that I need to lean on.
So as far as we sit here speaking about 50-50.
Yeah.
As far as the 50-50, why don't you think that is a such thing?
Well, I don't think any relationship will ever be 50-50. I think there's a moment where it don't have to be far off, right? I don't think that. I was like, saying, okay, well, shit, nigga, is me and your shit 50-50?
No.
Okay, then, nigga. It's no difference. I don't think in any relationship it's ever be 50-50. I think there's a mutual respect and understanding of what the roles are, right? So, like I said, when it comes to the household, when it comes to whatever the case may be, I don't expect her to carry the boat like that I'm going to carry. But I don't need her to do that. I need her to do this. And that for me, that's good enough for me.
And I think that's where I look at it as far as the 50-50. Yeah, I'm not expecting you to split everything down the middle.
For sure.
I'm a man, so therefore, again, I'll take care of bulk of the big bulk of the problem.
Absolutely.
The less stress,
Absolutely.
I guess the less strenuous situations. But I think a lot of times, we sit here, and again, social media is our worst friend.
For sure.
And so we see, from the outside looking in, see what's going on.
Yep.
And try to predict someone else's livelihood or what they're doing, and not understanding, like, again, what works for you works for you.
Facts.
So therefore, if your husband, your boyfriend don't mind paying, the bills, you still, I feel like as a woman, you should be able to hold up your end of the bargain in some way, or vice versa. If your lady, making the big bucks, and she don't mind, which if she don't mind, handling the bulk of the bills, you as a man, you got to step in some other way. And I don't think, at the end of the day with me, I'm just a man's man, right? So when I say I'm a man, right? So the way I do things, I'm a provider, and I've always been. Even when I didn't have, or when I have, I've always been a provider.
Yeah.
So therefore, whether I felt like my significant other was, making more money than me, I felt like I'm still going to be that man to say, nah, I'll take bulk of the bills. You do what you need to do. But again, I still want you to be on point in what you are doing.
So you okay? So I got two things. So you won't want so she make more money than you. You're still taking the boatload of the bills.
Absolutely.
But why? Even though she makes more money than you.
Because I'm gonna make it happen.
But once again, if she makes tons,
I feel like,
whoa, relax. So if she makes way more money than you, you're still taking all the heavy of the bills.
Absolutely.
Is that because of your pride?
That's the man in me.
That's the pride. Okay. That's the
pride. You could call it pride or whatever you want, but the thing about it is now, if my significant other was to come at me, she was making the big bucks, millions, and she come at me and say, hey, this week, this month, I take over the mortgage this month, or I take over this month. Of course, I take it like, oh, woo, But at the same time, I just think that men are set here to be providers.
Hey, yo, but
so as
you're making it about finances, champ. You're gonna write about the finance. You're making it about finances.
I mean, at that point, yeah.
Yourself, bro.
At that point,
because you say she's making the millions, and you still gonna carry the boatload of the bill. That's insanity. That's crazy, bro.
Well, I mean, if I can afford it.
But okay, so I'm not saying I'm not saying you can't, but I'm not saying you can't afford it. But the question would be is she making a ton of more money than what you making? But let's say you have a heavy half load and she can make it easy.
Well,
Yeah, like
so if that's the case, then roles will switch. Yes.
yeah.
Then listen, I make sure that the meals are cooked. I make sure that the clothes are
You'll
folded,
be okay
the
with that.
clothes are washed. Yeah, cleaning the house and things.
Okay.
That's because I would feel like I have to do something.
I don't believe you'll do that. I don't think you're that domesticated.
So you think I'm gonna just sit back and
No,
let
no,
my
no, no,
significant
no.
other pay all the bills and still cook and clean and all that?
No, 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 no. I think you'll do exactly what you said. You'll take it. You'll figure it out because I don't think you're gonna be domesticated. No, you're not. I don't see you with a motherfucking apron on with your ass out, cooking and cleaning, washing the dog.
Why my ass gotta be out though, Twan?
Because you got it. That's the type of shit you in. You in that Diddy shit.
Yo, how we go from here, Lou?
But no, listen,
How we go
well, listen. I don't see you doing
The
that.
ass out
But keep it a
time?
bean though. I don't see you in the kitchen cooking.
I'm gonna cook on the grill.
Okay, you can cook. I don't care where you cook at. I don't see you washing clothes. You just said you don't like folding and washing
I
clothes.
said I don't mind washing clothes. I said I don't like folding clothes, but if I have to fold clothes, I will.
I don't see you mopping floors and all that.
What the fuck? Yeah,
I'm not saying you can't
listen,
though.
I was raised by a mother that we had chores.
For sure.
So therefore I know how to do it.
Whether I never disputed that.
Whether I do it or don't do it, that's up in the air.
You just said you was a manly's man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got you.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think that based off of being a manly's man that you just said you are, what you're telling me is that the woman is paying the most of the bills and you're a house husband.
I had to step out where I was needed.
Okay. I'm just asking.
And because the thing about it is not, again, is where I was needed. Yeah, if we living in $1 million home and I can't afford to pay the mortgage for that $1 million home, I'm gonna step in one way or another to say, hey, how can I help and what you need me to do?
Gotcha.
I'm gonna be honest with you. With me, I like task. So therefore, if you give me a task on things I need to do, I feel like I want to accomplish those things.
So you say your person need your to-do list.
I need a to-do list.
Okay.
I need a to-do list. You give me a to-do list, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna try my best to get it done.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So I think, but I ain't gonna see stuff on the floor and walk past it. I'm not gonna do that. But at the same time, it's just certain things I just feel like I should have had to do.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I ain't said I would have a problem with it. I don't know if I could be a house husband, my guy. I don't think I could do that. I don't think so. I don't think I could sit here, cook, clean. How was your day, honey? Like, I don't know about all that time.
You meet Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, and she tell you she want to take care of you and the kid. What you gonna do?
I just want to throw unnecessary scenarios.
What are you gonna do?
Bro,
be a house husband?
Nah, I think a man should have a purpose. That's not my purpose. I'm gonna take the deal, but I'm gonna still find something for me. You feel what I'm saying? Because if I'm making that kind of money, I'm gonna hire people at that point. So I ain't gonna need to do that. If we getting that kind of money,
she getting that kind of money.
But you just said we know.
You ain't married yet.
Okay. I'm definitely married.
I know you are.
Tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
But realistically, what I'm saying
gold
to you
digger.
is, whoa, wait a minute now. Can a man be a gold digger?
Absolutely. There's a lot of them out there.
I mean, women been doing it for years. But anywho, what I'm saying to you, I think for me, I had to have a purpose in life. I can't be, I'm just cooking and cleaning. That's not mine. I wasn't designed that way. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I got to have a purpose for what my destiny of my life is. So yeah, I would have to find a task, but I get bored. I'll be out of my mind. I feel like I got so much ability and talent, I'm wasting it. Right. Just by being a house husband. I don't have those who do that. Shout out to you, but that's just not my purpose for me.
Yeah. You know no, I get it. As far as cutting grass, how you feel about the cutting grass? You say you don't cut the grass. If roles could be switched or reversed, certain things that a man would do, would you allow your significant other to do?
No, not with me. No.
Okay.
I feel like I said, each relationship has their own identity. I think for me, we just have an understanding. She don't have to.
Yeah. Cutting grass is my thing. I used to love cutting grass. Would I want my significant other cutting grass? Nah. I'm gonna pay for it. You know what I mean? I will pay for the grass to get cut.
Right.
But if you, I think it's ultimately up to what type of person that your significant other, how she is.
Right,
You know,
right, right,
if
right.
she like cutting grass, like doing things and that. I
Yeah.
mean, some people, you know, just enjoy doing
Yeah.
certain things that awesomely I wouldn't call it a man's job, but certain things where it's like, nah,
Mhm.
I'ma do it. I wouldn't
Yeah.
let her do it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, ultimately I just
Mhm.
think that certain things that I don't like to do, I'm gonna pay for it to get done.
Yeah, I mean, for me, bro,
Even if I feel like a man should be
for
doing it.
sure. But I think for me, I want my woman to operate truly in her feminist. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I want her to be a woman and feel like a woman. So, I mean, when it comes to the boatload of you can say most of the challenging tasks, I would love for her to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that for me.
Nah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? But let's get to it. Let's transition. Bro, let's get to this playoff stuff. What's going on, man?
Man, it's looking crazy. Everything we predicted, saying like it
No,
went to
no,
shit.
no, 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 no. You predicted, not me. You. Don't put us in no category when you can't pick picks. You
All
trash.
right, cool.
Okay.
Golden State going home.
Facts. You say we win the
The
championship.
Cavaliers already went home.
Sent them the fuck home.
But I do think that the Golden State still would have had a chance if Steph Curry would have came back.
Yeah, and
We know Jason Tatum, he suffered the injury,
yeah,
the torn Achilles,
yeah.
had surgery. So now
You-
Boston playing. But I think Boston gonna win this game, and I think they're gonna go to the Knicks, and we're gonna see how well he play. But you gotta understand, Boston got a phenomenal bench,
What's your
so you
prediction?
can't never give up on
What's your
them.
prediction, bro? I heard all that.
I think that they're gonna I think Boston going go to game 7, and they might be able to pull it off in
So
game
you're
7.
taking Boston.
I'm taking Boston.
Okay, so I'm taking the Knicks to play Indiana.
Okay.
Cool.
Golden State, Steph Curry gone, so I think Minnesota gonna pull it off. It's gonna be Minnesota versus OKC.
Cool. And who you? Okay, so we're gonna do it bracket by bracket.
Okay.
All right, so cool. So we got right now Minnesota
Hey,
sending them
OKC.
home, and OKC sending Denver home.
Yep.
All right, cool. So we know Indiana
They already made it
already
through.
moved on, and we know that the Knicks are moving on too. So
No, that's what you say.
I'm telling you the facts.
I think
Knicks are-
Boston bench will be able to pull it off, especially when we got some
they're
inconsistent
not beating
players
them
on the
game. They're
Knicks.
not beating them 3 times. So
Okay. All right.
they're
Cool.
not beating them 3 times.
Call it what you want.
That's fact.
History is gonna be made.
Listen,
I said it.
y'all heard it here first. I said Knicks and Indiana.
I say
Minnesota,
Boston.
OKC. Go
I
ahead.
say Boston, Indiana, and Minnesota, OKC.
You heard it here first. I know sports.
Yeah, whatever.
He bet sports.
So listen, we appreciate y'all checking into this episode.
For sure.
Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
One more time.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Listen, we want y'all to get into the ladies. We want y'all feedback. Fellas, you too. But ladies, definitely want your feedback. Hit the comments. I want you to give us what y'all think.
So you basically saying there's no such thing as 50-50.
I don't believe nothing is even. No.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe that.
You don't
no.
believe it's even.
So we're gonna read the comments and we're gonna follow up back up with episode
Absolutely
8.
Episode 8
of what y'all said.
Absolutely.
Fellas, you too, but definitely ladies.
Listen, we appreciate y'all checking in as always. And until next time, man.
Hit the subscribe button.
Hit that
button.
I
mean, hit it.
Hit it.
Bing, 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 bing. Let's go.
People hate when they elevate. 2 former cops turned the mics into the heavyweight. Lew Los, the real ones, you knew they was never fake. Now they talk to the mics while the phone still elevate. Came from the force where the streets ain't sweet. Now we spit balls instead of walking down the beat. They used to ride squad cars, now they in the big cars. In the sprinter van, speaking the truth of all cars. Lew Los, you know they brothers forever. If he lose, now they winning together. From the streets to the mic, yeah, they speaking was real. You laugh, you learn, you feel what they feel. They used to call him the love, now they call him the voice. He wasn't playing no game.
What up? It's your boy Los.